2021, Manchester City. Manchester City are the champions of the Premier League once again. The history makers, the record breakers, head and shoulders above the rest. 4 in a row for the formidable Manchester City.
Ready or not.
Liverpool's excellent start. Manchester City's crisis deepens. Liverpool are running away with it again. The foundations from the empire that Pep has built crumbling. Who catches Liverpool now?
Ready or not, here I come, you can't hide.
Oh, it's giving goosebumps for Sunday. Manchester City against Liverpool is the big one. Welcome to Team Talks. Welcome to Jermaine Defoe, Rachel Corsi as well. It's made me think about rivalries and big games and crunch games. What do you guys remember from when you were playing, and you're currently still playing? So you tell us your biggest rivalry.
Ooh. Are we limiting this to club football?
No, whatever you want.
Yeah, I feel like England-Scotland's always, and recently I've had some more painful experiences, but I have actually managed a win, so I'd say that's nice.
I played in one of those.
Yeah?
Hampden 2-2. The best atmosphere ever.
I think I was at that game. Harry Kane scored.
Yeah, too. Yeah.
I was at that game. I'm going to tell the story super quick.
Griffin scored the 2 free kicks.
Yeah, but we were parked in the car park and we thought we leave 5 minutes before the end. We left. We heard the roar as we got in the car. We heard the next roar as we got to the traffic lights. No. And then by the time we got home, it was 2-2. We missed 3 goals.
Oh, no.
That terrible fan.
Oh, my God.
What was your greatest rivalry?
I was lucky, to be honest, because obviously when I signed for Tottenham, I knew, obviously, Arsenal. That was the game. And obviously when I signed for Sunderland, it was Newcastle. And I thought it can't get bigger than this in terms of like atmosphere and the importance. Then I went to Rangers and obviously the Old Firm, and that was just on another level. So yeah, but those are the games that you wanna play in. There's just something special.
Absolute cinema.
Absolute cinema indeed.
Yeah, just when we saw that first, I'd forgotten about that, and that's heart and mouth stuff. When you do that as a centre back, he does extremely well to get back there.
What about this one, Jermaine?
Phil Foden, what a finish. That was the start of it, wasn't it, really? After that, I mean, he's been so consistent since then. But it's just an amazing game. You know, they're the games that you get your popcorn out, you look forward to it. You know, there's just, I mean, quality all over the pitch. I'm really looking forward to it.
Stakes are a little bit different this time around, though, because while this has always had a hand or a say in the destiny of the Premier League title, this time Liverpool are sitting pretty at the top of the table. Manchester City have had a very difficult season by their standards, but will that do anything to dampen the intensity on Sunday?
Oh, I think it'll be an incredible game. You know, City will be hurting from midweek. I'd imagine there'll be a feeling from some of the players of that hurt, but also a little bit of embarrassment potentially. And, you know, a lot of people have expected them to go much further than they did in the Champions League. Tough to play Real Madrid, but so early. This is 2 teams who I think, you know, it's just going to be great players, great matchups. It's one that I think we're all looking forward to watching.
Yeah, reigning champions against champions-elect, league leaders. Well, let's hear from the 2 managers, starting with Pep Guardiola, who was asked about leaving Kevin De Bruyne on the bench for the midweek defeat at Real Madrid.
Can I ask you an update on the fitness of Erling Haaland for this game?
Don't know yet. Tomorrow we'll know it. I don't know yet.
Hopeful?
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know yet. We didn't train today, and until tomorrow he will test, I guess, but I don't know.
How do you think your team is set up to be able to cope without Erling now? Obviously, Omar Mamouche has made a good impact since he came in. Do you feel more confident the side can cope without a player like Erling now than maybe a few weeks ago?
No, it's better to have Erling on the pitch than we don't have it, obviously. But with Erling, we are in the position that we are right now. So everybody is responsible, the good things and the bad things for the team. But of course, with Erling, we are stronger.
John Stones, do you know about him, whether he will be available or not?
He's injured, a difficult one. next hours, days, we'll know we need surgery or not.
So it's a longer period for John then,
Yeah.
potentially. Okay.
Like Mano Kanji.
Just finally, obviously this Liverpool team have been brilliant so far this season. They're well clear at the top. What do you see as the key strengths of this side, maybe compared to past Liverpool teams that you've played?
But a level consistency quite similar with Jurgen, so deserves to be up there, close to with Arsenal fighting for the title. So big compliment. So top team in many aspects. Otherwise, cannot be just lost. I think one game in the Premier League. So that's why good test for us.
Are they? Because Liverpool have been praised for perhaps having a little bit more control in their games this season, are they stronger this year than they were under Klopp?
I'm not going to answer that question. I have much respect for Jurgen and Arne. I know you want to go, but I will not play that game.
What do you want to see on Sunday from your team? It seems this season they're so up and so down. One game can be great, one game can be a bit like Real Madrid on Wednesday, for example. So what's important to see from you on Sunday?
I think we are in a not bad moment. A good, if you see some apart of Madrid was a better team. It's a better team right now. So I had the feeling that not just against Madrid, so, many years in the Champions League, we can compete with any team. We can going through or going out of the competition. Always we were there. I think everybody knows that the previous seasons against that team, exceptional team, we were able. They feel it. We feel it that we were there in many aspects better than them. But this season we're not. It's happened. Accept the reality. Maybe we couldn't go through, but sooner or later, with the situation, look now with the two central defenders again out for 2 or 3 months, we could not go further. And many competitions, and the priority, the Premier League is massive, important for us. So, and we want to see. But in terms of the other part of that, in the Premier League, we did a good games. Even we lost 5-1 against Arsenal. I would say that we played really good 60 minutes. Except the first 5, we conceded a goal and give away another chance. The rest was good, but we are not stable. But in other games, like have been, for example, Newcastle, we have been at a high level. So it's read because every game is different, the opponent is different, the strength of the opponent is different. And try to take a good game and the points that we need to stay up there to qualify for next season, where we were the last Wednesday.
Finally from me, Neil Warnock's downstairs. I think you're going to speak to him afterwards. Are you lining him up for the day that you do go?
It will be a pleasure to see him again. So I think I said many times. So Neil, like Sam Allardyce, like Mr. Ragnap, so have been a legend in this country. Have done this English football a better place for sure. So and sometimes now for the modern football, this type of English managers for a long time it's looked like, and it's not true. So I admire them a lot. What the contribution have done in the world football for different perspective, different way. And of course, I would like to. Hopefully, he doesn't shout me.
Pep, do you see this game as a positive following the European exit in midweek, or is it even tougher on the back of that? Is it good to have a big side coming to the Etihad on Sunday?
The schedule is the schedule, so I never complain about that. Sometimes you have different ones. Of course, after this game today and Wednesday against the Spurs, the fixture will be. The time between game and game will be, we'll have 6-7 days between them, so to prepare, to recover players and see we can do the last part of the 3 months, the end of the season, so to give our best.
I think the biggest question to be asked is from Man City, because we face a strong team again, like we faced Villa. So Arsenal plays before us, but we know that doesn't make the game easier or more difficult. that we have against City. We know we have 12 games to play, and Arsenal has 13 games to play. And if we constantly look at Arsenal or what other teams are doing, that would not help us. So we know already how difficult it is to go to the Etihad. So we don't need Arsenal to get involved in that even more.
Yeah, I mean, it's the last win in the league came in 2015. Obviously, Liverpool have won in the Champions League since then in 2018. So what are you expecting, though, from City? Because they've had a disappointing season. They've had that disappointment in the Champions League and obviously fighting for points to make sure they're in the Champions League next season.
Yeah, what I always expect from City, since Pep is there. A great football team that can play so well. And they've had maybe one or 2 months in the 7 or 8 years he's there now that weren't the best, maybe partly because of injuries as well. Injuries come back, they've signed 3 or 4 players. I can see them coming back already if you look at the result against Newcastle. So what you expect is what everybody expects if you go to the Etihad if you play against City. Yeah, you have to suffer as well. And work really hard to keep them away from your goal because they are so good in ball possession. But yeah, they face a strong team as well that haven't lost for 22 games now.
Can I just ask about Darwin as well? Because there was so much attention on that one miss last night, how do you deal with that with Darwin himself to make sure that he doesn't suffer too much because of it?
Oh, I can accept every miss, especially from a player that has scored 2 very important goals against Brentford, that scored for us in the home game against Villa. I would prefer him to score, but the word chance says it all. It's a chance, so it's not 100% sure that the ball goes in, and players miss chances. That I can accept. But what was a bit harder for me to accept, that his behavior after that chance, and with behavior I mean I think it got too much in his head, where he wasn't the usual Darwin that works his ass off and makes sure he helps the team. I think he was too disappointed after him missing that chance, and maybe we will never know, we will never find out. That's why he was just a fraction short the moment afterwards. I always truly believe that it's always the best to have Wata's mindset. And what I mean with that is that for the whole season he doesn't complain, keeps on going, and wherever we need him he's ready. And that is very difficult. There are not many players that can do this. So it's not about the chance for me. It's more about the 20 minutes afterwards where I want to talk to him about than about him missing a chance.
You generally see that mindset from the group as a whole, because as you mentioned, 22 games unbeaten in the Premier League since that defeat to Nottingham.
Yeah, and going 2-1 down against Villa, which was, in my opinion, completely against the run of play. Is that the way you say it here? So I was like, at halftime, I also said to them, I can show you now all the chances you've created. So don't think 2-1 is the result that is logical at the moment. So if you just keep on going, we do it defensively a bit better, we will definitely get our chances again. And that's also what we got. Unfortunately, too many times this season, we've missed maybe too many chances. And what I mean with that is that I don't think we've stolen many points. I've always come back to the Chelsea game where a draw was maybe a more of a fair result. But for every other game, I think we got what we deserved, or we deserved more. And that is more of a thing for me than that Arsenal plays on Saturday and we on Sunday.
Arne, what difference, you said a moment ago about City looking a bit better in recent weeks with the new players, with the injured players back. What's the difference that you've seen?
That players available. The style of play has always been the same for all these years that Pep was at Barcelona, at Bayern Munich, or at City. That's what I like from every manager. If they wear different shirts, you still know. Probably this is a team that is coached by Pep Guardiola, and that is what we've seen also in the period of time where they drop points. But yeah, even he needs quality players to get results, and if so many players are out, and you see this with Ange Postecoglou as well, if you constantly if you only have 10, 11, 12 players to play with in this league, in another league it's probably possible, but in this league it's so hard. So now with players being back, it's the same style of play, but the results are better.
It was a big chance, though, to be fair, an opportunity to win it at Villa Park. Darwin Núñez with literally his first touch of the game, and he had that opportunity set up by Szoboszlai.
Yeah, I was at the game, and there was, to be honest, nobody could believe it, really, because as the ball gets squared, you know, really selfish from Szoboszlai, you just expect him to side foot it in, and I don't quite know how he's managed to quite miss the target from there.
Yeah.
I wish we had
I
wish we had shown Jermaine's facial reaction there. You're horrified, man.
Yeah, sleepless nights. I wouldn't sleep.
You just assume it's a goal.
Yeah, because obviously it's so important and key moments in games. You want your forward players to step up, and when you're at the top of the league, you're going to feel like probably embarrassed, to be honest, because it's an open goal. And all you've got to do is sort of like just direct it towards goal, and it's sort of like it's a bad miss. But he keeps going. You know, he keeps going. Obviously, I know the manager spoke about the reaction, but a lot of times we've seen these missed chances and that, but he keeps making the runs, he keeps getting the opportunities.
Yeah, we were talking after the game about the door it was closed before. Liverpool could have had a double digits lead at that point, could have been 10, it's 8. But I know that Danny Murphy and Tim Sherwood said in the post-match the door is slightly open now. Danny Murphy said he could feel a little bit of a breeze. What do you think that does for the title race, especially, as Slot mentioned, he doesn't really want to be looking at Arsenal, but they could be a little bit closer by the time Liverpool do kick off at City.
Yeah, you're right. I think for Liverpool, though, it's a little bit of a vulnerable place to be in, but it's a nice vulnerability if such a thing exists, in that there's not as much pressure on them in this game against City, in the sense of City really need to win it in order to claw some of that gap back, and not just in the sense trying to catch the teams above. You know, there's teams right behind them looking to try and see if they can get into that top 4. So I feel there's more onus on City to go out and find a way to win, but Liverpool are in that place of you don't want to go into the game with that comfort of there's no pressure on us. Slot will want his players to be right up for it, which no doubt there will be. He'll want them to get at City. He'll want them to play their way, and you know, they've had incredible joy this season. I think the season they've had, not many people fully expected it to be as good so early. He'll want to make sure they don't take the foot off the gas in any way.
Yeah, and you're talking about his players having been incredible, none more so than Mo Salah, who's in the form of his life. And we caught up with the Egyptian king this week.
I didn't expect it to be that easy, that quick. Sorry, not easy. But it's also the manager now didn't change that much to us. Like he liked to do counter pressing, still play counter attack, but he liked to control the ball more and keep the ball with us. So it's slightly different, but I don't see that big difference. He's direct to the point, tough, honest. That's good, to be fair. It's make our life easy. So when he wants to tell you something, he makes sure that he tells you in your face. Sometimes it's hard. I said that before, but because as a player, you need also to understand that our emotions is going up and down, up and down. So as a manager, to tell us straight in the face is sometimes hard. But yeah, it's part of his job. And to be fair, he's doing it very good. City will be always City. They have one of the greatest managers ever, and they have great players. They play for top level for many years. They won everything in the club, so they always gonna be strong side, and they always can win the game anytime. So I see the game is gonna be very tough. They have advantage that they play home, and they have experienced players also. So we just need to stay calm and give it a try.
Now that game on Sunday may be your last game against Manchester City. Is it a little bit more special for you because of that?
To be fair, I don't know. I just feel like that my whole focus now is to win the Premier League. I just feel like, okay, I want to win the Premier League. It doesn't matter last game or not last game, so we see.
24 Premier League goals for Mo Salah. Can you explain how difficult it is to be so consistently good in this league and then somehow do what he's done this season, take it up a notch?
It's amazing. I mean, I can sit here for hours talking about Mo Salah. I've always loved watching him. Just everything about him, you know, on and off the pitch, so professional, family man, just relentless. Like he wants to break all the records. He's getting older, but it seems to be getting stronger, quicker. You know, so good in front of goal. But the numbers are just, I mean, the numbers speak for itself. You know, you see some of his goals, a lot of goals, it makes it look so easy. He scores all sorts of goals. And there's even times where, I can't remember what game it was, where like he's not in the game and then he would just get one chance and the concentration levels to finish it off, you know, it just deserves so much credit.
Rachel?
He's got such an eye for goal. And on top of that, his physical attributes just make him so incredibly dangerous. I mean, some of the goals he scored here, that the angles he chooses to shoot from, you're thinking, why have he shot from there? And he finds back the net.
But this is the one I was talking about. It was quiet throughout the whole game. And it's a tap-in, but when you watch the goal back, it's the first touch. Like, if you're any young player and you're not in a game, sometimes it's so difficult to have those sort of concentration levels, the touch and the no backlift and just the finish to win the game. It was just... It's amazing. He's an amazing footballer.
Well, speaking of amazing Egyptian footballers, there's one on the other side now for Manchester City. Omar Mamouche scored a hat-trick against Newcastle last time out. Pretty impressive.
Very impressive. And I think that was a result that probably obviously the game midweek, but I think in terms of the league, I think it's an important result for City because if they're playing a Newcastle team in good form who are difficult to play against, and I think to come away from this game 4-0 will do them the world of good. Again, that's a really nice finish. Not easy to sort of receive that under pressure, bodies in the way, gets a shot off. And I think for any player, you know, you score a hat-trick in the Premier League, that's one of the better moments in your career, I'm sure. So they probably needed one of those types of performances. It's been a rocky period for them, and somebody different stepping up, I think, is also something that's good for them as a collective group.
You have to be happy for him because when you come to a new club, like you come with like a big reputation. You want to get off to a good start, but then to score a hat-trick at home against a good team and some good goals there, yeah, you have to be happy for him. But he's so sharp, and you know when you watch him play, you think, you know, sooner or later, you know, you go on to score so many goals in that because he's so sharp. He gets his shots off. He's willing to run in behind. And that's where he gets his chances. Like the first goal that we saw, and is a fantastic finish in that, but top player.
Actually, you mentioned the Real Madrid game a few times. Just what kind of space does that put City into? How much are they looking to react now against Liverpool? And how do Liverpool approach this one?
Yeah, it's a tough one for City. Probably the only good thing is the fact that it was a midweek game and they've already got, you know, they've got less time. You've not got to wait a full week. You've got less time to be like, well, we get to go back out there and we get to at least try. And you can't change that performance, you can't change out that competition, but you do get a chance to make your last memory for the fans the next game. And it's important that they, you know, it's a good game to be able to give a reaction, to get a performance, to get a result. So they're going to need to have everybody on the same page, have everyone together. They're going to need everyone. They're going to have to be defensively very organised. They're very good at home. So I think they have an opportunity that's one they'll want. From a Liverpool perspective, I think they'll just continue as they have. They don't really typically change for many teams. They'll adapt tiny things, but they have their way, and so far it's been very effective for them.
You said City are very good at home. They've been very good at home against Liverpool. Liverpool have just won in 15 Premier League games at the Etihad. That was back in 2015. Is now the time to add the second?
Well, they want to surprise us with how they're playing. With obviously the important players playing so well this season. So we spoke about Mo Salah. I'd be looking forward to this game. And I'm sure the Liverpool players, you know, they would have looked at the Madrid game and thought, you know, they're wounded. You know, City are wounded. And sometimes for City, sometimes that next game, when you lose like that, the next game, if it's a big game, that's what you want really. And you mentioned about not having a long week, and it's almost like, right, that game's finished and that prepare and then look forward to the next game. It's a massive game. It's almost, you know, you have to bring your best. You know, you have to bring the best version of yourself. But, I mean, a game of that magnitude, when you're getting the best version of every player, you just never know what can happen.
To make it 3-2 will stand out and will be talked about. It's one of those chances that Arne talked about when he mentioned in his post-match reaction that there were too many opportunities that Liverpool missed tonight. We got more post-reaction from a Liverpool point of view. Here is Alexis McAllister.
Alexis, it was a great game to watch, a very intense match. How do you reflect on a point?
Yeah, definitely very intense, and the game we expected. We are disappointed, of course, because of the result, but we understand that this is a tough place, and a point is a point, so we have to take it and move on.
Did you find enough intensity yourselves in the way that you would normally play the game again today? Did you feel like you had a control of that match at any point?
Yeah, I think maybe second half we looked a little bit tired, and I think it's pretty normal when you play 3 games in a row every 2 or 3 days. So we expected the game to be like this, and then the changes helped a little bit. So that's really important because we will need everyone in these upcoming games.
Is there a bit of tiredness in your legs at the moment? Because there's been so many matches, you've given so much already. There's Manchester City next, there's Newcastle next week. These games are coming thick and fast, aren't they?
Yeah, as I say, I think everyone is a little bit tired. No one will say it, but we have to keep working, focus on resting and preparing for the next game because we have a really important game against Man City and, as you said, Newcastle after.
8 points clear, 12 games to go. Is there any sign of a light at the end yet? Can you see the finish line yet?
No, not really. I think it's going to be a long way. We have to give our best to keep getting the points that we need, and then at the end we will see. But there is still a lot of games, and an important one like the one we have to play against Arsenal. So it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult, but I think if we are together with the fans and everyone at the club, then we can make it.
So echoing the sentiments of his captain, Virgil van Dijk, that they are disappointed, bless you, they're disappointed to not have taken the full haul of points tonight. I'm sure everyone in the dressing room will agree, but there is still a long way to go.
Yeah, stay calm in the driving seat. We saw Slot's interview before the game, and he was talking about even if they didn't take maximum points in the next 2 games, City at the weekend and this one tonight against Villa, they would still be top of the league. With limited amount of games to go, and Arsenal have to go unbeaten. They have to go unbeaten. They're the ones who are chasing. So, good to have guys like that. Wins a World Cup. You've got winners there. The Virgil van Dijks, the Trent Alexander-Arnolds. These guys have been there and done it and won Champions Leagues and won Premier League, so they know what it's like to cross the line. Everyone always says, "Oh, they get nervous," because I always found it nervous. But these guys have been there before and they've done it. But there is an element of nerve. They'll play it down, of course they will. I think we talked about Andy Robertson coming out, and saying about nerves. I think he was saying it for a reason because the anxiety, what the cop were breathing onto against Wolves, so he was saying calm down because he's trying to send a message to the fans to say there's enough anxiety as there is. We need your help. Just keep us calm. We've got the good players. We'll create the chances. We'll win the games to collect that trophy. Because this is different now. This is a chance to win it in front of the Kop, in front of their own fans. Last time they did it, albeit it was very hard. It was COVID. It was behind closed doors. This will be the real time to win the Premier League.
He was asked about fitness there.
Yeah.
I didn't see a tired Liverpool late on. I saw Villa getting back into it late on because Liverpool were trying to win it.
Yeah.
But the legs look good. And I loved Arne Slot's interview the other day when he was asked about the tiredness and fatigue, and he said these players are fit, they can play every 3 days.
Yeah.
And I love that because there's no blame culture, there's no excuse.
Yeah.
It doesn't give the players an excuse. And I saw all of them running and trying to win the game and bombing forward, and Curtis Jones was sprinting back and Robbo was running forward.
Yeah.
I didn't see a tired group. I saw a determined group trying to win.
Yeah. I never see a tired team who wins every week. Or the majority of the weeks, they all want to be part of it. They want to play in the big games towards the end of the season. You show any sign of tiredness, your manager might leave you out, and then you don't play in the big games when they're lifting the trophies. This is the last time you want to start showing tiredness. This is a time when the pictures get taken. You want to be at the front.
Let's look at the games that are coming up. Let's look at the next couple of fixtures for Liverpool and for Arsenal, who are just behind them in second, of course, 8 points behind them now. There you go, confirmation in the race for the title. We're in the run-in. We have the new run-in ball and everything to prove it. So here's what's coming up. It's Manchester City away for Liverpool to complete a tough week of away fixtures in the Premier League. Newcastle, Southampton, Everton, Fulham and West Ham. Arsenal play West Ham on Saturday. Then Nottingham Forest, Manchester United, Chelsea, Fulham and Everton, a couple of teams that they both play, notably Fulham and Everton, West Ham as well. Between them, whose run, I don't even want to say tougher because everything is tough.
Well, I think if you look at it, Liverpool have got 4 home games out of the next 6.
Yeah.
And Anfield's a fortress. I would rather have 4 home games out of the next 6 than 3 and 3, which is what Arsenal have got. And, of course, 2 of them at Forest and Man United. Now, you could argue going Man U has been an easy ride for a lot of teams recently, but Man U showed against the bigger teams they'll put up a fight. They went to Arsenal and won in the Cup. So I think, although Liverpool have got City at the weekend, I'd rather have those 6 games than Arsenal's.
I agree with you. And not only that, Danny, I look at Arsenal's fixtures and their home games are London derbies. And we know how difficult it is. We both played in London derbies. No matter, even if it's not your main rival, it's very difficult, you know, because they take a big following away with them and there's always a rivalry, especially the Chelsea game. Chelsea can hurt anyone, you know, on their day. I mean, they're having a good time of it at the moment. But these teams, when I played in a side who was going to a club who were chasing for the title, no matter who it'd be, there was something extra on it. Yeah. You want to be a party pooper, you know, as sad as it may sound, but that might be the only thing left for your season is to try and spoil someone else's. Yeah. And that, you know, them fans of Chelsea and Fulham and West Ham, they want to spoil Arsenal. They won't want Arsenal to win the Premier League.
Yeah.
Lots of twists and turns to go. I think there's still going to be some twists and turns.
Yeah, sure. Big game for Liverpool coming up and the end of a big away week for them at Manchester City on the weekend. We can confirm for you that Manchester City have lost 3-1 at Real Madrid, so they are out of the Champions League.